From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 2429, this is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. We begin with a look at the monumental solar flares that struck us here on Earth, a storm with a magnitude not seen in more than 20 years.
The sun erupted in a series of powerful geomagnetic storms that began on Friday the 10th of May and continued into the following week, generating spectacular auroras seen around the world and all but shutting down HF radio communications. Satellite systems, including the massive Starlink constellation, reported degrading operating conditions, and space scientists told satellite operators that their orbits could be unexpectedly altered. At the outset of the storm, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration expressed concern over the impact the magnetic disturbances would have on power grids and navigation systems. This was the first solar burst of its kind in more than 2 decades, emerging as the first G5-level solar storm since 2003. Curtains of light could be seen shimmering from the aurora borealis to the north and the aurora australis to the south as the Earth's magnetic field became charged with overwhelming infusions of the sun's energy. The storm also had a personal impact on Tabitha Scove, the space weather woman, to whom many hams turn regularly for solar predictions. On Sunday, May 12th, en route to co-directing a space weather school in Italy, she witnessed the aurora as a steady view outside her airplane window. She posted on social media, "It's my first time seeing it with my own eyes. Words do not do justice." This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
Some welcome news for Pennsylvania hams who take their operating on the road.
Ham radio operators who are driving in Pennsylvania are to be exempted, after all, from a new distracted driving law following outcry from amateurs that a previous version of the proposed law lacked protection for them. An exemption for hams had been stripped out of the language during the legislative process, but according to news reports, it was recently restored. Following the bill's passage by the state's House of Representatives, it was expected to be sent to the governor, who is to sign it into law.
Newsline anchor Jim Dameron in 8TMW reporting. Our final story this week is no illusion, but the story itself deals with some of the greatest masters of illusion in the U.S. military during wartime, and the documentary telling the tale.
The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, members of the Ghost Army, were the magicians of the military whose efforts went well beyond the inflatable cannons, tanks, and trucks, or other tools of trickery, contained in arsenal to confound the enemy. The top-secret unit's 82 officers and 1,023 soldiers were experts who used visual, sonic, and radio trickery to render realism to fictional military maneuvers. Like the impersonators of the entertainment world who can recreate the voice and personal style of some celebrities, some of the troops learned to do the same with CW. The unit's Signal Company Special adopted the rhythm and signature touch of certain enemy soldiers' fists, modifying the radio's sounds as well and then transmitting on enemy frequencies with their bogus messages. In that guise, they sent scripted reports and created fake traffic nets designed to be intercepted by German intelligence and send their military off course. Ham radio, of course, hopes to keep things real, our nets as well as our QSOs. This documentary is an eloquent reminder, however, of how radio can help change the course of history, whether in war or peace. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6 ITB.
A reminder, time is running out. The nominating period for the Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award closes at midnight Eastern on Friday, May 31st. More information and a nominating form can be found at arnewsline.org under the Awards tab. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Randy Sly, W4XJ, Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.